some incredible emotional fills this episode of Noragami. I mean, there actually was better emotions I've had previous episodes. So we get some really good character development in this episode. Really good character development. We get actually some really dark tension going on. Of course, this series has a lot of darkness to it. But I was shocked with the creepy feels I got from this episode. And I love the entire atmosphere this episode betrays. I mean, getting to see how a lot of people have been telling me recently in the comments that Yukine has so much far to go with his personality. I'll be incredibly shocked with the way he acts. And people say I'm most likely I might hate him. Honestly, I take all of it, I read all what you say, but I really can't come to terms with actually hating Yukine. I mean, he's a really good character, and I love his entire progression. I mean, of course anyone's gonna think dirty thoughts, for instance, when you're sitting there in a freaking bed alone with a girl when she offers you to come into her room. So, it's logical, I understand it. And so, I understand why he acts like that, and I understand why he would want to sleep in a freaking bed instead of living in a freaking shrine in the middle of nowhere and out in the cold. I mean, it's obvious. Wouldn't you all want to sleep in a nice warm bed than on top of a shrine out in the middle of the cold? I mean, it's obvious. But Yato, he pretty much didn't really play a major important part in this episode. He kind of took a back step from this episode and let Yukine pretty much do whatever he wanted, and we get to see him progress and see how he acted alone. So, this episode, I feel, was a really good episode. It had a couple of action scenes, but the action scenes was not what really happened this episode. It was more on the progression of Yukine's character, especially when you get to meet the little ghost girl that was just downright adorable, then turn into something like, oh my god, that's creepy. For instance, the effect of the way you get to see Yukine just sitting in the park alone. We find out he's afraid of the darkness, okay? And we get to see this little girl that's a ghost that most likely died, and her mother's dead too in a car wreck. And just, she goes off and says, oh, where's my mommy and all that. It was actually a very upsetting scene. I actually got really upset in that scene. And then you can turn around and get to see how Yukine pretty much states to her pretty coldly, which actually was pretty mean, saying that her mother is not coming and that she's probably dead, which was messed up. That was a mean thing to say to a little girl. So she gets up all depressed, runs into the darkness, and all of a sudden you see spirits just getting around the little girl and just pretty much Yukine rushes into the darkness to save her, puts up a halberd, basically to stop the actual spirits to attacking her, and then he turns her, hugs her, and then he looks at her, and she says, me, oi, and I was like, oh my god, her voice was so demonic. I mean, the actual emotions in that entire scene was, oh my, it was... honestly, I saw the little girl becoming possessed and turning into something like that, but it had so much emotional impact that it managed to hit me pretty hard, because, I mean, that's sad enough, a little girl that's died at that age, waiting on her mom, even finds out that her mom's dead, and then all of a sudden she gets turned into something like that. That was a really dark theme to this episode, and I love that in series. That is a really good thing I love in anime. When they manage to go into the path of like this and make it something really dark, that's the type of stories I love. Now, one thing in particular though, when you get to see how the girl just turns on, the animation effect of the little girl turns into that monster, she starts speaking demonic voice, walks towards him, I mean, you just see the hands reach out beside her, she gets engulfed in darkness. That was so scary. That was actually very freaking scary. I mean, I'm not going to say this is a horror anime, it's not, but the atmosphere and the way they portrayed it with the actual overall feel of the voice actors and changing the voice actors' voices to demonic sounding along with the music, it really set the bar high for this episode. I mean, this was a really enjoyable episode, and it definitely was probably the darkest episode yet on the entire fact of how children are not even safe from these creatures that get very depressed and get pretty much, eternal damnation if they don't get killed and sentenced to death from Yato, a god. So, I loved the episode the way it played out. It was a really well-paced episode that managed to reach its climax in a great standing, and it didn't feel like I left anything out. Like, it felt like I was very happy with this episode. And the all-around episode feels I got, this is probably one of my favorite episodes of this series. Really, it is, because of the entire development of getting to see how Yukine, one of my favorite characters so far in the series, actually getting some development, and also exactly what kind of sins does Yukine actually have. I mean, he died, and we were explaining a couple episodes back that if you commit suicide or possessed, you can't become a regular. So what exactly sins did Yukine cause for Yato to be taken upon his sins when he gets stung and stuff? And also, Yato could pass divine judgment on anyone he feels like is right. So, I mean, he could kill anyone, do anything he wants, commit any sin, but he won't be judged for it, but he could judge anyone else. So that's a really dark side of the series. I like it so far. Noragami is looking up to be a very good series. Definitely in my top 5 of the season. It really is, because of when I saw this series, I didn't think it'd be that good, honestly, but it has turned into something that is probably my favorite dark series of the season. It really is, because the way the atmosphere of it feels. Not much more I can talk about. I really love the way everything's panning out. Hopefully they keep out this pace with the actual storytelling and the awesomeness of it. Tell me what you think about this episode. What do you think about the entire, I guess, atmosphere of the series? Do you get the creepy feels I did when you saw that little girl just turn around with her eye like that? I mean, I want to know all of your opinions too, because I love reading all your comments and stuff. So let me know what you think about this episode. Y'all have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please stay safe. Chibi out.